do today, babe? Howdy ho, neighbors. So today, we are on the way to the G2 consult. It's been a long time coming. I don't like really look back at the videos that I've done before, and it's raining outside, so that's why my glasses are all rainy. Don't really look back and even remember where I left off. I really should be doing that, but yeah, it's a long time coming, and we hopefully. What I hear that this is like 15 minutes of poking around and being like, okay, let's get them scheduled. And I know that, like, I have a feeling that that's how it's going to be. And so I'm also like, why did we have to wait this long for that? Like, why couldn't that be a telehealth visit? But we finally got in for this morning. So we are going to do that. Yeah, then we're gonna hang out. He pulled his tube yesterday. He pulls his tube often enough now, and that's what I was saying before. It's like I'm very ready for this to not be a thing anymore. But pulled his tube, and my car went down. I am in his dad's car. So I had a lot of things to do yesterday, and not very many of them got done. And because I had to like kind of stop what I was doing and go and take care of him, and we had this. So it's like, when say you have something at like a 9, and then at 1, and then at 4, or something like that. So you don't have a whole bunch of time in between those big, like, sort of, I was gonna call them milestones, but those benchmark sort of spaces. So it's not like I could spend, 4 or 5 hours doing a particular project, which is what I really needed. But this is Biscuit's update. We are 8 months old, and he is rolling now. Yeah, rolling. He has officially rolled like back to front and front to back. And he's starting to do it pretty consistently now, which is great. But also, you can't leave him in one place anymore. So, and think that he's going to be there when you get back. So that's cool. But yeah, so I'll let you guys know how things go after his consult. Day in the life. I don't have my car, which means I don't have my stroller. So we are hopping it, which I generally do not like to be hefting him around the hospital, because we never know. We've like been in appointments before, and then we get sent somewhere else. Either we knew about it or it's impromptu, but and then I'm stuck hefting, him around. So, and I'm by myself. So that is that. But I did not grab the stroller out, and I actually don't know if my stroller will actually fit into his dad's car, like right now. So just wanted to say that. But got my cup. Let's actually dump things off, and we're about to head in to see a surgeon. Hey, hello, Biscuit. Is that you? We are waiting outside our surgeon. Waiting for our surgeon to talk about your G-tube. You excited? You excited? Yeah. Of course, he got hungry. And that's one of the really hard things about this. So, oh, I'm gonna clear it. Okay, he's fine. um, is that he breastfeeds, and but really that's the only thing that he does by mouth well. And even at times, like 70% of the time is great, 30% of the time is hit or miss. But and that's one of the reasons that we're here for the YouTube. So I'll let you guys know everything. Okay. And we are back in the car. Biscotti was too heavy, and I had to get a wheelchair for his car seat. But we saw our surgeon, and who I absolutely love. He did us Valacil, closure, his circumcision, his hernia repair sort of things. He's basically taken ownership of Biscuit, which I do love. And so he kind of walked me through all of the things that come with the G-tube. And so because Biscotti is an Valacil kiddo, you can't do a G-tube laparoscopically. You can't do any abdominal anything laparoscopically because of how much scar tissue that he already has. And it was an abdominal wall. Like, he has a brand new abdominal wall, you know? So it is a little bit more invasive to do it. And so he would have to have like an incision down like his midline. And I was like, oh, well, you already made him such a nice, like usually a lot of times Valacil kiddos don't have belly buttons. And so he constructed him a belly button so that he has one. And I was like, you're gonna cut through his brand new belly button? He was like, oh, well, maybe, but you know, if I do, we'll fix it. We'll do we'll get him he'll get a new one. I'm like, okay. But he walked me through how he may not be eligible for like the button in the G-tube world. Like, he may not be eligible for like the mini button. It just matters how much like fascia and muscle and everything that he had to kind of pull together in there. So remember, he's an abdominal kiddo. He's like a belly kid. So there's a lot of other things that kind of go into account. And he said it's not, generally, especially because it's not laparoscopically, it is not like a quick procedure. Generally, folks that are getting G-tubes, it's like an hour. You're kind of in and out and everything like that. And this is not that. He was saying it's not that. It's going to take 3 to 4 hours. It's just gonna kind of matters when he gets in there, what he's seeing. He does he has like a little bit of a hernia, but so he's going to, while he's in there, see if he has more muscle that he can pull together. So also doing like that sort of not repair, but like reinforcement, because he has a mesh, but we're expecting by that time that we're having the surgery, the mesh is going to be basically absorbed at that point. So and all we're going to be left is with like his muscle and his fascia and everything. So he's going to he's going to reinforce it. He was looking around, and he was not like the most concerned, but he was a little concerned about his testicles. He says Valacil kiddos like sometimes can have like basically like wandering testicles, and his testicles had not completely like descended, and he was like, we're just gonna watch it, but when we're in there, we're gonna take a look at it also. So yeah, so it's not quick. And I asked him like, when can we probably get in, and he said most likely July. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, tomorrow is June, so that's fine. So we'll call. It's Friday today. He said to call on Wednesday to get everything scheduled, and hopefully we can get in um, sometime early July. So he was like, you don't have to do it, and I'm like, well, like, what do you recommend? Because we've had this NG. We had an OG first, and then we had an NG. For like over 7 months now, and I think it's just becoming more of a detriment than anything. And he said he agreed with that, and he thinks that some of his like laryngeal malaise and his reflux and his kind of just wet soundingness is attributed to this prolonged use of this tube. So he said that he would recommend that he's a good candidate for it. I'm like, okay, well, I trust you with my baby. And he said, yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll get it done, and he's gonna be okay. I'm like, okay. So I did kind of choke up a little bit when he was like, how long that the surgery was gonna take. And he'll be in the hospital for at least like 5 days. And that kind of just matters on how quickly his bowels kind of wake up. He says infantile kiddos under anesthesia can have a little trouble with getting those, like your bowels and your gut just start moving again. So if they didn't kind of like wake up, um, which I did ask, like, what are the criteria for like waking? How do we know that they're awake? And he said all the stuff from before. So before with his infantile, after his closure, before we could like start oral like feeds at all. He had to have like pass gas. He had something called a Rapogal, and it just kind of monitored like the output into his like intestines and his belly. So um, he said he'll go back on the Rapogal, and um, we'll just do liquids. And I was asking like, okay, well, we're gonna do like a TPN sort of thing, which was basically like his like IV nutrition. And I think he had a central line for that. And he said, no, we won't go to TPN. We'll just do his hydration for the first like 24, 48 hours. Um, he probably won't be able to breastfeed, so no POFs. And then we'll start using his G tube and seeing how he reacts to that. And really, the big thing is pain management at that, because of the incision. It's not laparoscopic. It's not like a little like slit. He has to be opened up. He will be opened. Like when you think of like open heart surgery, he'll have open belly surgery. And he says that he'll have like most likely a lot of adhesions because, you know, he has a different abdominal wall, like the different abdominal sac, like the bowl that your guts kind of sit in, are not fully formed for him. So um, we're thinking that, it can have adhered to his belly wall. So having to kind of pull that apart just to get to his stomach and kind of put things back together is it's going to be a production. But I still think that it's the best thing for him. Just, I'm always nervous about surgery. I'm always nervous about surgery. So that's the update. And all my questions were answered. I did get some food stuff. Just kind of looking at like what after he turns 1, like toddler nutrition. If he's not eating as much, like what does like his feeds look like when it has to be like more than breast milk. So we got some samples of that. So maybe I'll do that for you all. It's just kind of like trying them out. Some of them can be eaten like by mouth, and I'm gonna taste them because I'm not gonna give my baby anything that I wouldn't eat either. And kind of like see how the consistency in the bags and things like that. So we got some samples for that, and we'll go from there. So that's the G-Dub consult update. Yeah. Until next time.